Jaguars are, he should be able to stay on performance with that, you know, because their defense is not good. The next two games, though, the following games coming up after the next one, the Rams, the Niners, and the Browns, is going to be very telling, I think, on whether or not Murray can keep this. Like, this is a ridiculous pace up. A QBR of 121.
Mm-hmm.
And they're 2-0. He is playing exceptional right now, making reads on the field, making things happen with his legs. The accuracy, Kyler Murray's accuracy, throwing deep down the field has been like, he's been incredible so far. But like I said, he's got a pushover game in the Jaguars, and then he's got the Rams, the Niners, and the Browns right after that. So that's going to be a real 3-week test to see whether or not Kyler Murray's for real or not. But Ross, I want to get your thoughts on that.
So Kyler Murray is one of those guys I've always kept an eye on. I think he's supremely talented. I think he is someone who can establish an organization that's been struggling. Like, he's dynamic. I mean, let's look at his stats. Like, just stupid. 416 total yards for this offense, 280 passing yards, 136 rushing yards against Tennessee, who is like almost one of the best running backs in the NFL, Derrick Henry. You know, and then 6.2 yards per play. That is nothing but success. And I'm not saying the Titans are the Titans of defense, but look at Kyler Murray, 21 for 32, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Now, let's be considerate. He's still mostly a rookie. But the stats, oh my God, 13, like, a lot of these guys are getting over 10 yards per play in the receiving game. In the rushing game, everything's over 4 yards per carry. That's a recipe for success. This is a dark horse team. If they can keep this together, they're going to make a lot of teams look very foolish.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like the Cardinals have always been one of those teams where you could sleep on them or overlook them. What do you think, JD?
The Cardinals, this is what I'm going to say about Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is one of the greatest athletes of his generation, of the Gen Z generation. He is one of the greatest athletes that they're going to have. This guy was drafted number 9 overall by the Oakland Athletics in the MLB. He is a transcendent athlete, one of the best baseball players of his class. And as well as, and a lot of people didn't even think he'd be a great football player. Then he goes to Oklahoma and lights the league on, lights the NCAA on fire. I think he won a Heisman. He was absolutely phenomenal in college. Comes to the NFL, doesn't take him very long to at least show his talent. And now you gave him a whole year of of kind of feeling the league out. Now Cliff Kingsbury is blowing up the playbook. He's doing whatever he wants. He's got Hopkins to do whatever he wants with how he just Murray can throw it. Murray's accuracy is phenomenal. That's something that can't be overstated. His accuracy is incredible. I think it's a lot to do with his baseball skills. He's just a very skilled athlete, and that's all I can say. He's just incredibly skilled athlete. He's going to be a top 5 quarterback in the league for a long time.
So you do think he can keep the pace up? You do?
Oh, yeah.
You think he can keep this up?
He'll be fine. Yep. He's going to continue. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I believe it. That you can't fake that talent. You can't fake that skill. It's special. It's unique. He's a lot like Doug Flutie with his size, but I would say he's quicker off the acceleration. I just think that and also here's the thing. You got DeAndre Hopkins. So you can do a lot. Like you can throw that ball anywhere you want and he'll go get it. So it's kind of nice.
And he's deceptive too. He is quick.
Quick.
Like he breaks people's ankles.
Good vision for a short guy.
Yeah, I mean, I know the memes and the jokes online. A lot of guys are just like, yes, he's a short quarterback. But again, there's been majorly fantastic quarterbacks in the NFL that aren't over 6'5".
True.
Let's keep this in perspective. And also, that is somewhat a benefit to him being a mobile quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Slippery. Hard to grab. Because you're so small and, definitely.
I just believe this kid has a ceiling that he hasn't reached yet. And that's a scary thought. Because right now, look at what he's on pace to do with the Cardinals. The Cardinals. Imagine if he was on a team
changing
like
the culture.
Yes. Imagine if he went to a more stacked team. My Lord, he would have done even more damage. And now he's got Hopkins in the mix. Thank you, Rick, for telling me that. I completely forgot that now they got Hopkins over there. The sky could be the limit at this point.
I think the athletic ability cannot be underestimated. He's on top of he's doing it all at his size with 5'10" at the most. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He turned down millions of dollars to play football. Millions right off the bat. And now it's all going to pay off. He's going to make hundreds of millions.
Just the what he's doing is definitely worth monitoring because he's got that team playing very, very well. And the another thing that shouldn't be underestimated either is the defense feeds off of that too. When the offense is successful and they see Kyler Murray doing all the stuff that he can do, the defense feeds off of that. He's making the whole team better.
I agree. No question about that.
When you got that kind of leadership in the locker room and people going by example and making plays happen, that's going to inspire the rest of the team. Momentum is massive in games. Again, we talked about when we played the Jets, you and me off camera, is if we didn't get those picks, let's imagine those picks didn't happen, and they gained some momentum. How much closer of a game would the Jets game been for us? Again, I think Kyler Murray is the type of guy that can change games.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you have to game plan for. You cannot ignore him.
When I'm watching Murray, he plays in a way that I shouldn't say I'm not worried, but I'm not as worried that he's going to get hurt as a lot of other guys are. Like a lot of other guys that kind of throw their bodies around and they get hit really hard. Murray's so athletic and so anticipatory. He anticipates everything so well. He's so much faster than everyone else mentally on the field. He's got
what he's got. You know what he's got to me that really stands out for somebody of his size too. His football IQ. I was impressed with that. I did not. I'll be the first to admit I did not give him. I was not expecting his football IQ to be as good as it was. And he has very good instincts in the pocket. He can feel a rush. He can feel that backside rush. You know what I mean? He's very good with the instinctual stuff about the game. When he needs to get out of the pocket, he can feel it and get out of the pocket and get out of harm's way.
No doubt, he's quick.
I like dynamic players, and he's one of those guys. Simply put, he's exciting to watch. You want to turn on a football game? Are you going to turn it on to see the Red Rocket? No, you're going to turn it on to see Justin Fields. Are you going to turn it on to see, let's be honest, some aging quarterback in the backfield just doing checkdowns all day? I know they don't last as long, but it makes a far more exciting football game.
Well, if you're a quarterback like Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray or maybe Justin Fields, where you can throw in the pocket and you can make pocket throws, that career doesn't necessarily have to be that short. Cam's problem was he never, and I would say Michael Vick was relatively not dynamic with his arm, but they weren't dynamic with their arms. You know what I mean? They didn't understand that. Cam didn't even know the playbook. I mean, that's just stuff like that. That's going to hurt you. If you know the playbook, you're dynamic with your arm and you're athletic, you're going to have a nice prime and then maybe a slow, gradual decline. So that's kind of nice, I would say. I hope that that's what happens for all of
But
these
see,
guys.
that just adds to the football IQ. His football IQ. I didn't give him. Like I said, I'll be the first to admit, I didn't give him enough credit for that. I didn't think, his football IQ. Watching some of those plays and watching him read and instinctually know where DeAndre Hopkins is going to be downfield as he's scrambling is something that needs to be said. That's a very underrated part of his game. That's very good.
And Hopkins hasn't even been there that long.
I know.
He has not even been there that long. It's crazy. And they're
a
already
good
starting
young
to gain
offense.
chemistry. Absolutely. I cannot disagree there.
And they brought somebody, this was brought up too. He's very accurate on the move, which is a huge plus too, especially those type of mobile quarterbacks like that suit teams that don't have good offensive lines a lot better.